All right, so today we're talking about the film from 2000 called Battle Royale by Kenji Fukasaku. And so Kenji, he has directed quite a few other films, but he died in 2003. So Battle Royale ended up being his last film. I can't say I've heard many of these other movies, but from what I did, a bit of research, he seems like quite a cool guy. I know he did not. I think he directed part of Battle Royale 2, which apparently just isn't as good to begin with. But Battle Royale itself is an amazing movie. I really, really loved Battle Royale. And this movie spawned like so many novels, movies, and of course, games inspired by it. I mean, Battle Royale has taken over the video game landscape with, Fortnite, with Warzone, with PUBG, and I love those games. Those games are so fun, and it's funny to see that those games had like surged recently in popularity, maybe since like 2015-ish, because I mean, first-person shooters, COD had dominated that with just like Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, but it finally picked up steam. I want to say around 2015. Don't cite me on that, but that's just when I noticed it when I was about 15 years old myself. And then again, you have the very clear comparison to the most famous Battle Royale movie / novel, The Hunger Games. And I think this movie just is the peak Battle Royale in any media. I absolutely loved this movie. First of all, the opening credits were so cool. Like, it kind of did feel like a video game opening credits with these like not very polished 3D animated texts, but it was just awesome. It got me in the mood. And that's just like one word that works with this movie. This movie's just like, it's awesome. Because I feel like as a younger person, when I was in like, I don't know, grade 8, and I heard about the Hunger Games, I was like, I hate this. This seems so scary. I was just like thinking about myself in that situation. And I'm like, forced to kill other people. You don't have any other option. And I just like, I hated it. It just like, I know so many people loved it. Like so many of my friends, they read the book and everything. And it was such a big thing when the movie came out. But I just really didn't like the concept of a battle royale pertaining to real life, because I feel like the Hunger Games movie that I've seen, that's like, I haven't read the book or anything, but the Hunger Games movie, they take it very seriously, right? The drama is so heightened, trying to like make the audience think, what if this were you in this situation? What would you do? And I feel like this movie, Battle Royale, kind of just like takes a step back. It's more cheesy, it's more fun, and I think a lot of the decisions that the kids make in this movie are just like what I wanted to see in a battle royale situation. Just like a diverse array of ways people would act in this situation, and the entire backdrop of why it was happening was also a lot of fun, and I really got a lot out of it. So first of all, spoiler-free thoughts, like if you should go watch this movie, of course, you should definitely watch this movie. This is a phenomenal movie. It is action-packed, but at the same time, it's not like insanely gory or anything. There are definitely a few gore moments with, like a severed head and things like that. But I wouldn't say it's like insanely graphic. It just is like, yeah, the concept, it's very dark. You're not going to want kids to watch or anything, but it is quite an easy watch. It's an entertaining action movie with a bit of gore, and honestly, the characters were really fun. Like, I think a lot of the comments here on Letterboxd about the main character, they were just like, he looks like an anime character. And I mean, he really does. He really does. And that's totally cool. And I don't know if I'm citing this correct or not, but I feel like there is like, this is based on a text. So I feel like there is that connection as well. So, I mean, what else do I have to say before going full on into spoilers? I'm just going to go full on into spoilers right here. I just want to talk about the spoilers here. So all these kids, they think they're going on a field trip in this world where, so the setup is that, this world is that kids have just gone crazy. It doesn't say like, there's no like weird thing that's gotten in their brains, no substance that's been sprinkled they've been eating and, causing their brains to act different. Kids have just gone absolutely bonkers, out of control, and parents cannot control them. And so, for some reason, they think taking one class, putting them in a battle royale against each other, in the Battle Royale Act, the government mandated, is going to solve everything. And loved the initial video of the girl teaching everybody what the Battle Royale Act is and what you got to do. It was so fun. It fit the vibe so well. Like, her contrasted to all the kids being like, what is going on here? It was great. I really like some of like the old graphics. Like specifically that one moment where the girl's giving that tutorial on the TV, but also just like the map and like the island divided up into grids on their like big screen, but it also looked kind of vintage at the same time, a little retro. And I thought it was just like, this is such like a 2000s movie, and it made the vibe like so much more fun because it had those little like moments that the visual of the island, I think it just made it so much more palatable. It made it so much more cohesive. It wasn't confusing. You know why they have to move around. Certain areas are going to get marked off, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, it just, the concept, like, and all of the little intricacies around it worked so well. So yeah, they start off, and I love the scene where their name gets called, and they all just like sprint up to get their bags and whatever, and they all have different weapons. Oh, the different weapons also was hilarious. When you get a pot lid, that was hilarious. I think that when we get into the Battle Royale, I really, like I said before, I really do like how it highlighted like the different approaches. And whereas Hunger Games, it tries to catch the viewer by saying, what would you do in this scenario, like emotionally? It's very dramatic. But this one is like, what would you do in this scenario tactically? And so it takes your like emotional investment of the fear of being put in that scenario out of it. And it's like, okay, if I was given a pot lid, what would I do with this pot lid? If I was giving this tracker of other contestants, what would I do with that? That was a very good one. That was an awesome addition. I love that one. And it allowed him to try to go find his one crush. That was so fun. But yeah, that's my main point about this, why I liked it so much and why I just don't like the concept of Hunger Games that much. It's like, it's just scary. And I feel like that sentiment of like 14-year-old me realizing what the Hunger Games is has translated to now. It's just like leaving a sour taste in my mouth. I'm sure it's fine. I mean, like Suzanne Collins, like everybody loves the book, whatever. But just like the little intricacies here, like, yeah, what weapon are you going to get? Like all these zones, who would you trust? Things like that. It just works so well for like the campiness of it. And I think that the teen angst drama element of this was also made it feel a little more silly, but fun at the same time. It was just a lot of fun seeing all of the different characters like use their crushes or use this opportunity to like vent their crushes and decide who they want to side with based on like who their crush is or who like their best friend is, with who they thought their best friend was. And that was it was great that this is like a class of people who already knew each other, because in the Hunger Games, I guess that is another aspect that I didn't think about until right now. It's like a bunch of people that don't really know each other very well, but this one is literally people who you have been in class with and have relationships with, and that also just made it so good. I think that I really did like a lot of the slight experimental elements, some of the flashbacks, like with that one kid. I forget that one kid, the one kid who got his brain zapped after he was trying to rebel, the main character's best friend. Like those flashback scenes were really nice, and I really like how it was like cut up into those like quotes at some point. I don't know, it's like nothing very complicated. Like flashbacks and like quotes on the screen aren't anything very intricate, but it made it feel more thoughtful. I don't know. I really like those touches. That's all I really have to say here. I think that one thing, that slight gripe, just based on like the technicalities of it, it's just like what I would have wanted to see. I would have wanted to see somebody like actually go into one of those marked off zones. Like that didn't happen at all. Like we had his friend get zapped by the collar right near the beginning because he was rebelling against the teacher. But then nobody actually went into a marked zone and got their brain zapped, which is like, they set that up. It was like Chekhov's gun. They set that up, and I was like, somebody's brain's going to get zapped at some point. But nobody's brain got zapped. It was a little unfortunate. But still, they did so much with exploring so many avenues of what people would do. I love the kids trying to hack into the system. And this one guy, this one science major, he's just getting all of his cronies to like get all this supplies and try to figure it out. And then that one exchange student comes and just messes up everything and then just blows themselves up. And it like blinds him. Dude, that guy was so sick. I forget his name as well. But the two exchange students, like, they didn't really explain it. There was no like, ulterior motive like reveal where it's like, oh, we put these exchange students in here because we wanted them to, you know, spice it up, but really this is a battle of this class. They were just like, oh yeah, they were like previous winners and a guy who just wanted to be in it. It's like, shouldn't it be just the class, you know? But they were nice additions nonetheless. Yeah, so the main exchange student that hangs out with our protagonists, he was cool. They were both cool, and I think that his whole thing with trying to betray the teacher at the end was pretty fun. Him losing his girlfriend after trying to find the meaning in her last words. That was fun. It was cute. It added to the like high school drama-ness of it, but also it just like, I don't know, it was nice to have him along for the ride. He was a cool like anti-hero at points, you know, added some spice into the mix. And then in the end, when it was actually him that hacked into it, so maybe he went back in because he wanted to sabotage the whole thing. I think that the way that ending was handled was really good, that he was going to betray them. But where is he hacking? Where is he hacking? Yeah, instead of Chekhov's gun, we're talking about Chekhov's brain zapper necklace thing. Have you seen Battle Royale before? Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I was just saying, it's like the main, no, not the main guy, the exchange student who hangs out with our protagonist. It's supposedly him who hacks into the system instead of the science nerds. But like, where is he hacking from? What device does he have to hack into everything? Maybe he like pre-programmed something to hack in, and it's like at this exact moment, that's when it's going to get set off, and that's when everything's going to go down, and the hacking is going to start. I don't know. But still, he was a great character. I really liked him a lot. But I think my favorite character was the teacher. I mean, the teacher was absolutely legendary. I don't know, his performance was so good. And then after I watched the movie, I looked into him, Takashi Kitano, and I mean, he's been in a lot of things, Ghost in the Shell, one of the American movies, but he also has directed quite a few movies. And this one, I believe, won the Golden Lion. Okay, I thought it was the Palme d'Or, but it won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, which is great. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need to. I mean, those two exchange students, they were just so cool. We're just anime characters. Yeah, the exchange students were great. But what I was saying, the teacher, Takashi Kitano, he has directed a lot of things, and he has acted in quite a few things. Just a veteran all around. Oh, I loved at the end where the teacher, it was like he thought that the one exchange student has won, and then he goes out and he's just doing like yoga in the yard. His backstory was like some kid stabbed him in the hallway when he was a teacher, when all the kids were just running rampant. And then he decided to kill a bunch of children in a Battle Royale game. And, you know, gotta respect it. In the end, I think this is just like peak Battle Royale content, whether it be like a game, a novel, or any other movie. I think this is just like prime, the prime version of this concept. It just works so well. And yeah, there were so many, like, I think they balance all of the different characters really, really well. I really loved how they have the countdown of all the kids when they die. And yeah, I think that just there were so many different personalities that kind of showed off like the different stereotypical like high school teenager. And I didn't think they would be able to balance like 40 different characters and 40 different very unique characters, it felt like. But they really did. It's like they followed every single death. You got to witness every single death. And yeah, they were all different, unique in their own ways. And when it cuts back and forth to different characters, you pretty much, you know, every time who they're talking about. Like, you get invested with each different character very well just because of how unique they are. So, I mean, you got to give huge props to them for that as well. I think that, I'm trying to think, what's my favorite scene in this movie? Favorite scene? I think that one of the most memorable ones is when the main character is locked up by this group of girls, and then this one shy girl, she thought that he had killed somebody previously, but it was an accident. You know, the axe fell on the guy's head. You know, it happens. And so she wants to poison him. But then another girl comes in and is like, oh, you made dinner, thanks. She eats it up. She gets destroyed. And then somebody's like, oh, one of you girls is sabotaging this whole thing, and they all just kill each other. That was phenomenal. It was great. It felt like a bottle episode within this movie of just like this one clique of girls who hadn't like interacted with anybody else the entire time. They just wanted to hide out and be with themselves this whole time. But this one instance, this one boy just destroyed everything. And then they all just died. This one girl just had this machine gun and just absolutely destroyed them all. And yeah, that was a great scene. That was a great scene. I do love also the grenade scene where they're hiding out in this hut, and then the one anime villain guy, the exchange student, he beheads him, stuffs the grenade in his mouth, then throws the grenade. That was a good moment as well. Quite a few good kills. I'm sure on YouTube there's a compilation of all the kills, but there was a lot of good ones. Oh, the one where the one guy was trying to, he was like confessing his love to this one girl. I think it was the girl in the yellow tracksuit. Yeah, her. She was great. She was cool. And she just stabbed him in the dick a million times. That was good stuff. That was good stuff. Yeah, a lot of really good kills. I mean, I love the Science Bros as well. I mean, this is just, again, me just reiterating that the characters were just very well developed. They're all very likable. And yeah, you know exactly who they are when we cut back to them. And yeah, it just, the structure of it worked so well. It was very easy to follow. And yeah, it was just great movie all around. I really, really enjoyed watching it. It was awesome.